Method is basically a function or a subroutine where you put it inside the main program in order to do a particular task. This subroutine have a input, output, and its logic inside it, just like a program, but it's small program which you can call it from the main program. Usually programmer will implement the method when they have a sequence of statement that he or she often used, and instead of making repeating of the code, they just make it as a method. So for example, in the main program here, we may have many statements, and at one point in the main program, you can call a method. For example, like call method A and then give the input and return the output to the main method. And it also call the other method like method B, give the input and get the output from the method B. In Java, you can implement a method using this syntax. First, you would have a modifier such as a public static, and at this point you don't need to care what it is, but you will learn it later. But what we really care here is three things. First is return type, which is basically output of the method, and method name, which is used when you call it, and parameters, which is the input of this method. And inside this, you may have many statements, and at the end of the method, what you have to do is return the output to where it called it. When you return a variable or the data to where it called, that variable has to be the same type as you declared here. So for example, the return type you declare here is int. You would have to return the variable with the int data type. If you have the return type here declared as boolean, then here you would have to return the boolean variable, or true or false. And note it here that the method has to be implemented outside the main execution. So let's code this method. In this program, I have currently I have three statements. One to print hello A, and hello B, and hello C. As you can see that I often have this these three statements, which is not good in the programming. When you do a programming, you would need to keep the code as less as possible. So you often use the print out. And now we will write a method which will replace these three statements. So I write a simple method. The method that calls from the main execution in the Java program, it has to contain the modifier public static. These are modifiers as I show you in the slide here. Now we will have to declare the return type. Some of the case you may not have the output of the method. So in this case, it doesn't have the output of method, so we put in the term void. Void means the method doesn't return anything. And then you put in hello. Hello is a method name which we name it here. You can name it anything. Hello, hello world, anything you would like to. This name will be used to call it in the main execution. So we have return type, we have method name. The other thing is parameter. The parameter have to wrap it around the parent here. In this case, we don't also have the parameter, so we just have an empty parent, and then we open with the blanket and close blanket. Now in this method, I will just simply say sysout hello. Okay, and in the main execution program, I will just replace it with the calling hello world. So when you call the method hello world, if you don't you have to use the name that you declared here, and if you have the parameter declared here, you would have to pass the parameter inside this parent as well. Now let's try to run this simple program. Okay, so it just say hello. If you put in, if you can call it more than once, you can put in 5 calling. We just basically call this one 5 times. So we run it, we get 5 hello. Okay. Now what if we want to modify this method so that it passes in the parameter and print out hello with the parameter that passed in. So in the parameter, I would say I pass in the name, which in the type string, string is a pair of character. And then in here, I can refer to this variable declare, this parameter that I declared here as a variable. I say name. So it will print out, this method will just print out hello, and with the value of the variable of the parameter to pass in the name. Okay, so as you can notice here that there's error here because when you call it, you have to pass in the parameter string, as when you implement it here, as you declared here that it need the name. So I put in A, put in B, put in C, D, F, and I run the program. Okay, so this time it will just hello A, which is produced by this statement. It call hello world method with the pass in string A. So A was thrown here, and then in this statement it print out hello together with the value inside the name. So with this method you have parameter, but you don't have return type. Now we write the method with return type. So this method, I will just make it as a method to plus to integer. So I call it plus, and then for the return type, I make it so that it return the result as an int, which is result from the plus. And then in the parameter here, I would need 2 parameter for making plus A and B. So I declare these 2 parameter as int, as a type int, and also B as a type int, and then opening blanket. So in the method, what you have to do is to plus it. So to plus it, you need maybe another variable to contain the result from plus A and B. And then the last thing you need to do in the method is to return the result, which is C. So it returns C, and C has to be int. If you have, for example, you declare the C as double and you return C, it will say type mismatch because you declared here as int, and what you're trying to do here is you're returning a double which is not matched with the int. So the return type has to match with what you declare here as a return type. So let's try to run this and call it in the main execution. In the main execution, I call this by plus A, and I would need to put in pass in the parameter such as the number like 5 and 4. Okay, and I would need to declare another variable to contain the result, the passing from this plus. Okay, and then I system out the result. So let's just remove this one and run the program. So I get the result 9. What happened is when you call the plus and you pass parameter as 5, the 5 is thrown the value into this parameter, this variable A, and 4, the value is thrown into this variable B, and inside the method you will just plus A and B and put the result in C and return the result, the C. And when C is returned, the value is assigned to result and print out here. And with this method, I can call it twice. For example, I want to plus result with 3. Okay. So I get the result, which result from passing 5 and 4. And then I get this result as a parameter here, and then plus it with 3. So the value of result is thrown to A, and the value of 3 is thrown to B. So it will get the value inside the result plus with 3 and get the result here and return back. Okay. So let's try to run this again. So I get the result as 12, which is 5 plus 4 and plus 3 basically. And with this piece of code, you can make it shorter by making something called nested call. As you can see that the result from this calling, it is put into the result variable. Why don't we just use this inside the variable here? So replace the result here. Okay. So with this statement, it would just make this calling first, pass 5 with 4 and get the result back, and then the second calling is this one. It just called in order to plus the result from the first calling, and then plus it with 3, and you get the result here. So this is what we call nested calling. So let's try to run this program again. You get the same result.